Hi, everybody. I am here for half and half today. Maybe you notice I'm standing up. I'm like ready to get going, raring to go. And I have a little goofy bandana around my neck as well, but it's not, it's a towel because we're going to do strap work, towel work. So grab yours if you haven't got one already, your kitchen towel or your yoga strap. I think last week, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago, I used the strap and I realized, like, oh, I remember why I don't use the strap because Andy Cat goes a little crazy. So today I remembered to get a towel. So set yourself up holding a little wider than shoulder distance on your strap, or probably the diagonal ends of your towel, if that's how you're doing it. And then soft elbows, wide upper back, feet parallel, all the things you know how to do. We'll go right into it. Inhale, pulling out, and exhale, release it. And inhale and pull, and exhale, release. And so this is a breathing exercise too. Nice full inhale to pull, and full exhale. And inhale, pulling out, and exhale, and pull, and release it. And inhale, and exhale. And one more time, inhale, hold it. And hold the tension, but exhale your breath. And then up to just below shoulder height, up, and exhale, lower. And inhale, reaching up. Let's bend your knees and lower. And press and reach. And exhale, and up, and lower. And inhaling, exhale, and reach. And lower. Two more. And one more time, up and hold it. Release the tension, then pulling out. Inhale and exhale and pull and release. And you might notice that I'm not going super slowly. So can you get a full breath and in a faster way? Like, what does that mean? How do you balance the rhythm, the fullness of the breath, and then talking if you're me, but you don't have to talk. Inhale, pull, and exhale, and inhale. One more time, pull and hold it. And then exhale and reach overhead and bend and inhale up and full breath in and powerful exhale and reaching up and lower and up. Ribs are staying in as your arms go overhead. And one more time, up and hold that. And then step your feet a little bit out, turn them out just a little bit. So we put in the chat, we're going to work on some spinal rotation. We're going to get into that here. You don't have to do this when you rotate, but it is interesting when I turn my feet out a little bit, that's more likely to get into the groups of muscles that like groups of rotating muscles like to work together. So if I rotate a little bit at my hips, it affects what muscles tend to want to come on when I rotate my spine. So we're going to do that. Feet are a little rotated open instead of forward. And then we're going to rotate the spine. And exhale back to center. Now, a moment ago, I said, remember to keep your ribs in. Also important as you rotate, keep your ribs in. Helps get the oblique muscles to come on. Oblique muscles, abdominal oblique muscles, are responsible for a lot of your rotation, especially the lower rib feeling. And again. And inhale. And exhale. Now do a little lower, bend and reach up. And we'll add that to the pattern. Inhale, exhale, and lower. And rotate. And rotate. Now we're going to keep going, but reverse the breath. So hold it here for a moment. Take a breath in. And then exhale to rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Exhale, rotate. And exhale. It's a different feeling, right? Emptying the lungs, using the belly, like squeezing the air out to rotate, filling up as you come center. And one more each side. And finish and rest. And just kind of circle your shoulders around either direction. Let your head move a little bit. There's a lot of like arms overhead movement, right? Okay, keep your strap. You can turn it into a little bandana if you want to, but I'm just going to hold my strap. So standing at the front edge of your mat, bend your knees and rolling down all the way to the floor. Take a little stretch hanging forward. Now you can do that slow, full, deep breath if you want. And then work your way to the floor. You can go to hands and knees and then come to sitting. Okay, do you still have your strap? So we're going to take feet flexed, knees a little bent, and feet hip distance apart. Setting a pair. We're going to take the strap out in front of you or the towel, and you could hold just a little narrower now. So shoulder distance apart. So where is that? I want my hands shoulder distance here. Same sort of pull. Now check out your wrists, right? Let them be straight forward, knuckles straight forward. And then round your spine, open your back, tip a little backwards in your pelvis, draw your ribs together in the front. And we're going to start a halfway roll down, right? We're just trying to go halfway down. So rolling back, really round spine as you do it. Feel the back of your pelvis on the floor. Now do a pull here on the strap. Exhale, release it. And pull again. One more time. And as you exhale this time, roll forward, top of the head, upper back, and lower back reaching forward. So let's take that pattern a couple times. Rolling back, pelvis curls under first, lower back opening. You get about halfway down. Can you relax your thighs, your hips once you're there? Low belly really in, and then pull out. Exhale. Ribs in, navel to spine, belly in. One more pull. And then head forward, rounding forward. Okay, so this time we're going to add a little rotation into it. Now, earlier I was saying when your hips rotate, your obliques like to come on, like those muscles, the spiraling muscles like to work together. We're going to challenge that a little bit this time. So I'll just show you what we're going to do. We're going to roll back. You're going to keep your legs really parallel, and keeping your legs parallel, you're going to rotate the spine once you're there, and then come back to center. You're going to rotate the other way and back to center. And one of the goals is to not move your legs open or apart, right? Like as I rotate, a lot of times a knee falls in or a leg falls open. I'm going to try to keep everything straight ahead, low belly, holds my pelvis still, and then a little higher at the ribs, feeling the obliques through that part. And then reaching forward. Okay, you ready? And if you're doing this with your hands on your legs, right, if that works better for you, you still can. You just take an arm off to rotate, another arm off to rotate. I'll show that one in a second. So round spine, rolling back, halfway back. And then exhale for the rotation. Pull the strap a little more. Inhale, center, check your legs. And exhale the rotation. Pull the strap. Inhale, knees are still straight up. Rolling forward. And coming back. Inhale back. Exhale, pull and rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale, pull and rotate. Inhale, center. And exhale, forward. Let me do one with my hands and my legs this time, if you like that better. Rolling back, hold your legs. Exhale, open. And back to center. Exhale, open. And back to center. Exhale, forward. Can we do it 2 more times? It seems like a lot, but I don't know. I'm very energized today. And last one. This time, don't roll up, roll down. And take a stretch with the arms overhead, or however you like. Okay, so let's go into set ourselves up for some leg circles. And if you have a strap or a towel, you can hook it around your foot to hold your leg up, or use the strap around your foot to hold your leg up. Now, just depending on your arm length and your leg length and the tightness of your leg, neither one of those, like sometimes neither of those feels great. And so if that's the case for you, hold the back of your leg, figure out what really works for you. But I'll just give you this option if you like this option a little better. So last week we talked about your pelvis and keeping your pelvis in place in this particular exercise, and also just feeling the difference between when your pelvis comes up and when it's down. So maybe you remember that. Maybe you were here last week. And we want to do that same thing here. For this exercise, part of the goal is to keep the pelvis neutral, not pulled up off the floor, to keep the spine neutral as the leg is up. Now, before we do the leg circles, let's go right to the other side. And then same thing. Okay, how straight should your leg be? Can you find your pelvis neutral? Do you like the strap, the towel, or do you like holding your leg? Take a moment, find all that. And then relaxing your left leg or your second leg, whichever leg it was. And then I'm going to chat for just a moment. So if you want to come up to sitting to take a look, or if you can just turn your head to look at the screen, I'll do a little demo here. So we're talking about rotation of the spine. We're talking about the muscles that are involved. And with me, it's often like I'm talking about the abdominal muscles because Pilates likes to talk about that. The single leg circles, you don't rotate your spine, right? When we know this, that the leg moves and you try to keep your spine still. So you are keeping your spine in neutral, holding it still. But now what does it have to do with spinal rotation? So when I work the muscles to take an action, those muscles also work to stabilize against a force that's pulling that direction. So when I do the leg circles, the force of the leg, the weight of the leg, it's actually pulling my spine into rotation. If I took that movement to its natural conclusion, my spine would be rotated, right? Because of the weight of my leg there. So what works in this exercise are those same oblique muscles to try to prevent your spine from rotating against the weight of this leg, spiraling around. Same thing on this side. If I took this to its natural conclusion, I would end up in a twist. I would end up with my spine rotated. So instead of that, I'm going to really feel the work in the oblique muscles still to try to hold my spine still against that force. So let's give it a try. Your abdominal oblique muscles are more on the side of your abdominals, around your waist and kind of the side front of the body. And then the feeling of the ribs coming together, that's usually a good way to contact the oblique muscles here. So we'll use all that as you start reaching your leg across and around and up to center. And I'm very sort of picky for myself about keeping my pelvis super still, keeping my ribs really engaged, keeping my spine really, really exactly centered and not rotating at all. And because of that, I don't take my leg very far. I really start to feel like, oh, there's my pelvis, it wants to go. Now I'm going to work the muscles to hold it still. I don't really need to take the leg very far to get some of that feeling. Let's try the reverse. Same circle, just start in the other direction. One more. And then take your right leg down. Let's go right into the left leg, taking that leg up. See if you can feel, where's your pelvis, both sides of the pelvis down, ribs. As my leg goes across, there's a moment where my pelvis wants to start tipping. That's the beginning of my spine wanting to rotate. So I turn the abdominal muscles on to hold my pelvis still, hold my ribs together. Keep it as the leg opens. And then try the reverse. So as I open my left leg, it's my right hip that wants to lift up. So I have to feel the right obliques more. As I take my left leg across, it's a little more my left obliques. So it changes as well. And then bending your knee and come up to sitting. Okay, so as we talked about doing this class today, Scott looked at me and he said, "You never teach the saw in class." And I was like, "Yeah, that's true, I don't. But the saw is a good spinal rotation exercise." So we're going to do the saw. And we're going to start with the standing saw, which is the saw I kind of like. It's a very old, very classic, like Joe move. He liked to do the standing saw too. So we're going to come up to standing. And then you're going to set yourself up. Maybe you know the saw, maybe you don't. Either way is fine. But if you do know the saw, you know your feet are about the width of a mat, right? So definitely wider than hip distance and pointing forward. Now let's start just basically with like standing spine stretch. We do that one a lot. So you could think of it that way. You're going to reach the arms up. You're going to think one vertebra at a time as you roll forward, not relaxed, but like lifted through your belly, like you were reaching out and over a big stability ball. You can see the ball behind me. Like I was going to reach way over that ball. Really different than just trying to relax my spine. And then rolling back up. And exhale, reaching out and forward. Holding with your abdominal muscles as you really reach out away from your center. I don't want to touch my toes. I want to think of touching out in front of my toes. But even then, I don't necessarily want to touch the floor. One more. Okay, so phase 2 of this, maybe you want to watch the first time. I'm going to take the spine stretch forward in that same way. And then I'm going to take one arm up and back behind me. So it's like I'm high-fiving someone way overhead. This would be a very complicated high five, but I have the back of my hand pressing forward as opposed to, or I have the palm of my hand pressing towards the screen as opposed to flip the other way. So I want to feel that. And then I'm going to start the rotation. As I reach that back arm up, my bottom arm goes towards the opposite foot here. There's my saw position. And then coming back to center and rolling up. And then the other side, rolling forward. I'm going to reach the one arm back and high five somebody overhead. I'm going to reach towards the opposite foot, a big twist, and then coming back down and rolling up. Try it like that. Maybe you already started trying it with me. So you can take the right arm up to the ceiling. You take the left hand towards the right foot, and you'd feel the spine rotate. I'm looking back at the skeleton behind me now. Rolling back up. And one more. The left arm goes up to the ceiling. The right hand goes towards the left foot. And rolling up. And arms reach straight out. Now let's take your feet just a little wider, if you want. Just for a little different challenge. Okay, so then full sort of saw version. We're going to go to that position we were just in. We're going to start from here. We're going to rotate first and then head down towards the opposite foot with that lifted feeling in the belly with the high five overhead. And back to center. Rotate first, feel your abdominal muscles. Reach to the opposite foot, back hand reaching back overhead, rolling up and back to center. And inhale, twist. Exhale. And back to center. And one more time. And back to center. And drop your arms. That was a lot of going upside down. So get your head back to normal, upright. Let's do one more strap exercise. So we're going to go back to that feet rotated position, a little bit of that feeling. Arms straight out in front of you. Now, one thing I haven't talked about too much is holding the pelvis still, holding basically like from your navel to your pelvis really still and rotating the spine a little higher up. I bet Scott is going to talk about this a little bit. He likes to talk about this. I'm just going to talk. He's going to tell you more things. I'm now dictating what he's going to say. I'm just going to say, feel your abdominals, hold this part of you still, and then use the ribs, use the belly to create the rotation. If I go too far, my pelvis starts to move. As my pelvis starts to move, my knee starts to fold, my foot starts to come in, all that stuff. Nope, right? So you're not going to go as far, but you're going to hold all this really steady. So here we go, rotating. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Lower your arms down. Little pull on the towel. Rotate. Arms overhead. center, and lower down. And inhale, rotate. Now just hold it here this time. Feel your opposite foot on the floor. Feel the opposite abdominals, really holding the power on the opposite side. Then reach up and back to center and down and take it and hold it. So if you're mirroring me, you're rotating to the left. Your right foot's solid. The right side of the belly is holding your pelvis in place. Reaching up and center. And a couple more. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. One more time. And lower down. Okay, I have 2 minutes and I'm going to use it. Let's head back down to the floor. So last exercise we'll do is called the crisscross. And this is part of the stomach series exercise, but we don't do it a lot in this class. So my legs, I'll just show you my legs first. They're going to be straight ahead. They're going to be in that parallel straight ahead position, lower abdominals really holding, navel holding. And then my upper body only is going to rotate so the opposite elbow goes towards the knee. Now maybe you can see on that side camera, I'm not touching my knee. I'm not going super far and rocking onto one side. I'm just feeling myself rotate, really holding from the abdominals and then reaching the other way. I don't want the pelvis to move, just like when we're standing. Just want to feel the obliques really making that rotation. Elbows stay wide. Exhale. It's kind of slow. And exhale. And rest your head down. So maybe you've done these in a gym. There was a period that like doing them super, super fast was really trendy. I don't know if it's still trendy. I don't see it quite as much as I used to. It's not a bad thing to do, but it's not what we're doing. Joe was really big on really slow crisscross. Take it there, hold it. Take it there, hold it. Take it there, hold it. So that's how you do the crisscross a little more. Let's try it again. So hands behind your head. Elbows are a little wide. Take a moment, find your ribs, and bring your head up. Now, pelvis is really solid. Take your right knee in, your left leg out, and then see if you can feel that slow rotation. Hold it there. And then rotate around, hold it there. And exhale. And keep lifting up, don't fall back. Using your abdominals to hold you up. Two more sets. And exhale. And rest everything down. And just take a couple breaths here on your back. Hang out, let your neck release, let your upper back release. I'm going to transition, but you just stay where you are. Bring on the tall guy.
Hello, everybody. That's going to be a tough act to follow. So maybe you're still on the floor, and if you're not, let's head to the floor together. And sitting in a simple cross-legged position. Doesn't matter what leg is in front or which leg is behind. So Collette gave me a great setup talking about my love of doing twists as a way to help free the upper back. Just out of curiosity, how many of you feel stiff between your shoulder blades? Maybe feel some aches or pains between your shoulder blades. So if you just said yes to that or raised your hand up, What we're going to do now is all about releasing that tension. So let's start off and bring awareness to your right lower ribs. Remember, I'm mirror image to you. Right lower ribs where I'm touching here. And then think in terms of taking these lower ribs to the other side of your body toward the pelvic crest. So that's going to be your, and then twist to your right. Bring your left hand across, right hand behind. Now as you turn to your right, do you feel how those ribs want to come along for the ride? So take those lower ribs and move them to the other pelvic crest as you twist. And maybe you're already feeling the twist between your shoulder blades, where it's going to be most beneficial. Let's take a few more moments here. And then coming across, back to the middle. And now we're going to explore the other diagonal line, lower ribs relation to opposite side pelvic crest. So that's going to be your obliques on either side. So as you twist to your left now, right hand comes across, left hand behind. So if your experience is anything like mine, is I turn my nose and my shoulders to the left. Ribs want to make the same movement. So use your obliques to take those lower ribs toward the opposite side. We'll spend a few moments here. So that's all to guide the twist to where it's going to be most beneficial, right between your shoulder blades. And then back in toward the middle. So how are your legs crossed right now? Which one's in front? My left leg's in front. Switch it around. So now I'm going to bring my right leg in front. So for a lot of us, just doing this can help create more balance in the body, because we tend to favor one side over the other. So you can maybe predict we're going to do the first side twist again with that same focus. So lower ribs on your right side, pelvic crest on your left side, tie them together, cinch that shoelace as you twist to your right. Now, as you engage your obliques, that's what cinches the shoelace. Don't forget to breathe. And back in toward the middle. And the other side, cultivating that diagonal line, cinch the shoelace, twist to your left. Lower ribs, move down and across to the other side pelvic crest. And then to free your upper back, loosen things up. Don't forget to breathe. And then come on back in toward the middle. And now let's move into hands and knees. So in a few moments we'll come up to standing, but in the meantime, on hands and knees. And then cat pose, moving your spine into flexion. And maybe you saw that brief inset, Andy cat. It's just off the screen. And so inspired by a cat's supple, flexible spine, lift your spine up toward the ceiling. And we'll take a few more breaths here, again using the breath to help free your upper back. And then from cat pose to cow pose, from spine flexion to spine extension. Holding here. And then back to normal neutral hands and knees. Turn your toes under. Then lift your hips up. That wall that's back there behind you, you can see it between your shins. Move your butt back toward that wall. Let's take a few breaths here. And exhale, step your feet forward. Gorilla position. So here's spine extension again, like we did in cow. Then fold. Here's spine flexion again, like we did in cat. Now, if you remember way back, remember that prep for the saw where you mobilized your spine? So rising up, immobilizing your spine segment by segment, and going from spine flexion to spine extension, looking up. And then arms down. So you can keep facing the way you are. I'm going to turn and face the other direction. I think it'll be evident why I'm going to do that here in a moment. So whatever direction you're facing, step your feet medium width apart. And then turn your left foot in and your right foot out. Turn your left foot a little bit more in so that you face toward the side. And take a moment to feel your feet upon the floor. Legs straight but not locked. And then fold from your hip sockets. So spine stays pretty straight. I've been biking quite a lot over the past few weeks. So I'm feeling my hamstrings. So that's about as far as I'm going to go. I don't want to push hard into the stretch. Just touch it. Very gently touch it. So do you feel how your belly is facing the floor? Keep your belly and your lower ribs facing the floor. As you turn your head and shoulders. And then bring your left hand down, maybe to your knee, maybe to your shin. So remember in seated when we were twisting from the upper back? So we're doing the same thing right here. A few breaths. And then with the next inhale, come on up. Turn back to the front. You can see the screen again. And turn your right foot in, left foot out. Right foot a little bit more in. And now facing the other side of your room. So feeling your feet on the floor, including your 10 toes. Knees straight but not locked. And before we do anything fancy with the spine, keep your spine straight, fold from your hips. And then touch the hamstring stretch, far enough. Now the upper back, remember that feeling of rotating from your upper back, getting the most benefit from between your shoulder blades. So belly and lower ribs continue to face the floor. Turn your head and shoulders. Maybe that's what they named the shampoo after. Right hand comes down, maybe to your knee, maybe to your shin. And just like we did in seated, twisting from your upper back. And then inhale, come on up. Turn back to the front. You can see the screen again. Let's do the same thing again on the first side. Left foot in, right foot out. Left foot a little bit more in, facing toward the side. Keep your spine more or less straight. Fold from your hips. Then at least to some extent, your belly and your lower ribs face the floor. Use your obliques to maintain that. As you turn your head and shoulders, so you're probably now turning away from your screen, turning from your upper back primarily, also from your neck. And a few breaths here. And then inhale, come on up. Back to your screen. And now the second side, last time through. So this time, be a lot less instruction and more time and space for you to introspect and be with what you feel. Folding. Use your obliques to maintain that midsection integration, and then twist. And breathe. And then come up. Turn back to the screen. Keep your feet apart. I'll turn back so I can see you. Just joking, I can't see you. Now I can see the camera. Feet wide apart. Wider than they were in the saw, aren't they? Fold from your hips. Keep your spine more or less straight until you bump into some resistance. That's about it for me. Then similar to the saw, now round your spine. Fingertips a little bit in front, not quite touching. So this is wider legs in the saw, but similar idea in your spine. Now roll up. See if you can feel segment by segment by segment by segment. And coming back to normal, usual standing. Let your arms hang. Stand tall. So let's continue that thread of using twist as a way to create freedom between the shoulder blades. Step your feet wide apart. Turn your left foot in and then your right foot out. Now let's do a little bit of movement. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Up and down like that. That's kind of fun. I'm looking off screen here and I see the most comfortable chair in the whole filming facility. The cat is in that chair. And the humans are either sitting on the floor or the uncomfortable chair. This is the order of the universe, isn't it? So next time, knee in the bent position, pausing there. So spine vertical, isn't it? So now tip your torso and let your neck and head follow into the diagonal. Hand to knee, hand to hip. So remember that feeling of using your obliques to connect your lower ribs to your belly? So maintaining that connection as you bring your left arm forward. Sweep it through. And now we've done it a couple different contexts. Turn in your neck and your upper back. Use your obliques to maintain that midsection integrity. And then come on up with the in-breath. And turn back to the front. Second side. Turn your right foot in, left foot out. Bend, straighten. Out breath. In breath. Next time, knee in the bent position, pause there. Then in a moment, shift your spine from the vertical to the diagonal. Hand to knee, hand to hip, settle into the diagonal. Then use your obliques to hook your lower ribs to your abdomen. Keep that integrity as you sweep your right arm forward and through. And maintain that midsection integrity so you introduce a little rotation, neck and upper back. And then inhale, come up. Exhale, back to the front. And then step your feet together. So let's go back to the floor. Let's use a sun salutation to get there. Keep this connection, lower ribs connected to your belly. Exhale. Keep that connection. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Keep that midsection integrity. Inhale, forward. Exhale, step back. Let's take a few breaths here. And then come on down. All the way to seated. And then knees bent, feet flat upon the floor. And then take your left leg forward. Right foot can either stay or cross over. Remember that. Use your obliques to maintain that midsection integrity. So we've talked about it quite a bit, so I'm not going to use so many words this time. Bring your left arm across, right arm behind. When you maintain that midsection integrity, maybe you're already feeling. There's a lot more benefit in the upper back. And then if you breathe, those benefits are compounded. And back to the middle. Back to the reset position, knees bent, feet flat upon the floor. And then the other side, right foot forward. Left foot can either stay or come over. How do you know which one you should do? If you cross over and you feel a pinch in your groin, don't do that. If you cross over and you don't feel a pinch in the groin, typically beneficial. Then, keeping midsection integrity, twist to the other side. And a few more breaths here. The breathing, maybe you're already feeling it, can contribute to loosening upper back. And then back to the middle. Take both feet forward. So let your feet turn out just a tiny bit. You can probably see my heels are touching. Balls of the feet are a little bit apart. So keep that gentle external rotation. Exhale, both arms up. Inhale, articulate your spine forward. You've done this now a few different contexts. See if you can feel your whole spine mobilizing. Hands maybe come to knees or maybe shins. maybe even your ankles. Three slow, deep breaths. And then come on up. And lying back. So lie back whatever way is comfortable. It could be knees bent, could be knees straight, could be on the floor or your bed or a reclining chair. A recliner, it's perfectly okay. Then what's the definition of comfortable? I'm defining comfortable as you feel free to relax your muscles. That so often throughout the day, the muscles are holding on or clenching sometimes. So find a sufficiently comfortable position that you feel free to relax your muscles. Free to relax your shoulder muscles. Free to relax your belly muscles. We've done a lot with the belly, and that was then, and this is now. Relax your belly. As you continue to relax your belly, relax your jaw. Maybe you've already felt that as you relax your jaw, there's more freedom to relax your neck. Neck and jaw are neighbors. What one does, often the other does. So now we'll take the next 1 minute quietly so that you can scan your body and relax any tension that you may encounter. Then, if you've closed your eyes, now open them. And then slowly, gently come up to sitting. All right. How's that practice? So these half and half classes give you a glimpse in what we do at the Pilates on Harrison, both in person in the studio and in our online offerings. We offer 20 plus classes a week. So if you are liking what we do here, please feel free to check out what we do on our online subscription service. And we do offer a pay what you can program. So if the price looks steep, you can set your own price and get access to all that we do. So any comments, questions in the chat this morning? Looks kind of quiet. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and hanging out with us. And let's do this again really soon. We do half and half every Saturday. Bye-bye.